to Ian Graham, representative for Repower Canada, located in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Thanks very much, Alexandria, and good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Project Green PowerPoint presentation in regards to power management. I would like to introduce to all of you, two people that have joined us from California, Doug Rowe and Ed Millen, who will be conducting the presentation this afternoon. Doug, did you want to maybe go from there, or should
we'll go ahead. Ian, why don't you tell everybody, first we're going to go through the company introduction and then the opportunity that we all have with regard to saving significant amounts of energy, which really leads to some significant dollar savings. Then we'll get into a brief demonstration and then next steps on how we can take advantage of this opportunity. And if you could, what happened to our? Tell us a little bit about Repower.
Sure, I'll just be very brief. Repower Canada is an energy consulting firm, I should say, and performs energy audits as well as providing solutions to reduce energy consumption and costs. We were asked by Autonomic to come and work in Canada, where I'm basically the sort of the leader of sustainability and conservation program.
Unmuted.
And we've been working just recently with Manitoba and now in Ontario to deliver, obviously, the message out to corporations and in the much sector on basically how they can save their dollars. And I would like to emphasize that this program is also has a rebate formula to this through the Ontario Power Authority's Save on Green. So we can talk about that a little later. And Repower has performed many audits, and it's located in Barrie, under Lyme, and an office in Toronto.
And Autonomic Software, we're located in California, in Danville, California, just outside of San Francisco. And we came into fruition in 2004. We have over 300 clients right now. And really, there's no one particular vertical that we focus on, although it does seem to be, for us right now, the most interest that we're receiving is from the school districts, city, county, municipality, and county government agencies. Basically, the people that are really hard strapped for money and are looking to save every possible dime that they can out there. And to do it, if they can do it for little or no cost, even better. And that's really where we come into play. There's a huge opportunity for organizations to save a lot of money. In the U.S., climate savers and the EPA estimate that 90% of desktop users do not utilize power management settings. And a lot of this is by design by IT departments, because when people are away from their desks at night, that's typically when they do their updates and they do their maintenance on the desktop, so they don't interfere with the workday routine. And so they set, even though the power management policies from Dell, from HP, from whoever, have the ability to be put into different reduced power states, the IT departments typically disable those so they can have access, because those machines need to be turned on, and they need to be powered up, and they need to be accessed for their maintenance. Well, we can help with that, because we can go back in, and we'll show as we go through this in our demonstration, or we can send a signal, a wake on land signal, to power those computers up, either fully power them up from an off state, or just basically bring them out of sleep mode, or S3 mode, which is standby, or if they're in hibernation mode, which is S4, we can bring them out of that as well. And the savings are actually pretty significant. It ends up being between $30 and $40 per computer per year. And that's based on if all the computers in your organization are Energy Star compliant. And what we've done is we looked at approximately 1,000 computers, and if we look at what the total maximum power consumption, if all 1,000 computers were left on for 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, you're looking at a maximum power consumption somewhere close to 900,000 kilowatt hours a year. And again, the rates in Ontario are right around 10 cents per kilowatt hour, and that does not include transmission charges, and it doesn't include peak hour usage, so it's actually a little bit higher. And when we look at what the workday power consumption is, it's about 230,000 kilowatt hours a day. In the U.S., the EPA estimates that 36% of computers are turned off at work or after work. Well, in our experience, that number's high. It's typically a lot lower. It's closer to 20 than it is to 36%. And so by those 36% of computer, or 360 computers being turned off at work, you're saving about 234,000 kilowatt hours, or about $23,000, $24,000 a year in savings by just powering those off or dropping them into a reduced power state. That gives us another opportunity. We have another 400,000 kilowatt hours of savings for an opportunity, or another $40,000 of potential savings by taking those other 640 computers and putting them into S3 or powering them completely off. Again, most of our customers are dropped into sleep mode or S3. It just makes life from a user's perspective a lot easier. So when we look at what are the tangible and the intangible results that can result from dropping idle computers from a fully powered state into a reduced power state, be it S3 or turning it off at a particular time of night, you're looking at somewhere around $50,000 in annual savings. And again, when we look at the reduced kilowatt usage is about 477,000 kilowatt hours saved, which is the equivalent of reducing your CO2 output by 366 tons, and that is the equivalent of removing 61 automobiles from the highways or planting 76 acres of trees. So there's a huge impact to not just from a fiscal perspective, but also it really does help the environment, and it makes a lot of sense environmentally, and it makes a lot of sense from a fiscal responsibility perspective. So the cost, pretty straightforward. It's $15 per computer, and that includes maintenance support for 4 years. So there's a one-time cost of $15 per computer. If you got 1,000 computers, it's $15,000. Annual savings per computer somewhere between $30 and $40. I pick $35 just to split the difference. And the OPA offers a grant of $7.50 per computer. So a simple ROI for 1,000 computers, you're going to get the cost back, the $7,500 back in less than 3 months based on that savings. So it's straightforward, very easy. And then after that, going into your 4th month, again, you're looking at the savings drop straight down to your bottom line. We offer 2 solutions. One for McAfee customers, which is fully integrated into the McAfee EPO console. There's no additional client software required. There is no additional database required. The user interface is all driven right from the McAfee EPO. There's no additional servers. Simple deployment. For McAfee customers, it makes it very, very easy. They don't have to do anything that they're not currently doing in their day-to-day operation and maintenance of their McAfee environment. For non-McAfee customers, if you're Symantec, Trend, AVG, or whoever you're using for your endpoint protection, we offer another solution that requires we deploy a small client, about a megabyte, that's deployed to all the different computers from a central server. The server requirements are pretty straightforward, nothing extraordinary. 4 gigabyte of RAM, 40 gigabyte hard drive with a SQL backend database. We can either point to an existing SQL instance, or when we load onto the server, we actually do a full deployment, or there's deployment of SQL Express. It's easy, it's fast. We've been very successful in deploying in some very unique environments, and we're pretty confident that there aren't too many that we can't deploy to. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ed Milan, and Ed is going to take us through. First, we're going to go through the non-McAfee solution, and then we'll give you a brief overview of the McAfee solution as well. Can everybody see this? If you can't see this, Ian, can you see this?
Yeah, I can see the product demonstration.
Okay, perfect. All right,
Okay,
so we're good.
do you see the ANSA UI?
I'm sorry, Ed?
Do you see the ANSA administration screen?
Yes, I see the product, just the product demonstration, yes.
No, you see the product demonstration. We got it.
Okay, so we'll just clean that up right now. And again, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you will have some questions at the end that we'll be very happy to answer.
Muted. Muted.
Okay.
Hi, Ian.
Yeah.
There is a question right now. Is the OPA grant a prescriptive rebate or based on calculations of annual savings?
It's based on calculation of annual savings.
Okay.
And again, we can go through it. We had a meeting with the OPA, chat with time ago. Basically, how it's a very simple way is if you have 5 computers or more, it works well.
Can you see this now?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
I need to put the full screen on. Yeah.
Muted.
Okay, folks, so this is the ANSA administration, the front of the user interface. As a sample, I'll go ahead and log in right now.
And this is for non-McAfee users, right? Customers.
So what we have here is basically the description of our servers, the port of the controllers, aka the server. The communication ports that we use is always 9311 and 9312. That's from controller to agent. And then I'll log you in. What we're seeing here is basically a list of computers that are in the controller. And I'll take you into our group here for sample. And as a sample, we go into group 1. And in group 1, under our computers list, these are all the computers that would be within our sample group. So once I take you into this computer, the good thing about with ANSA is you get your asset inventory. We have our computer details, which gives a description of the operating system, the manufacturer, the RAM that's installed. And as you scroll down, we also have our patches. This gives a patch description, the bulletin ID, severity, along with the details.
This is one of the things that with the non-McAfee product, we can we include at no additional cost a hardware and software asset management piece of the software, and we offer that because we can't separate it from we need to be able to collect certain information to be able to do wake on land and to do some of the other things that we do with our power management. And so you get both the power management and the asset management component of the suite as well.
So in addition to the asset inventory that we have in the computer details, if you would like to basically go further into detail, we also have our inventory reports, which pulls down here. As a sample, we'll go into software, and we have our software inventory, which is shown right here. And I'll go and expand the Microsoft software list, and basically gives us our product publisher, the path of where it resides, and the file destination and the version. It goes all the way down. It also includes our third-party software. So with that being said, what I'll do is I'll take you into how easy it is to set a power policy. And we'll go ahead and use group 1 again.
And if you look right now within group 1, you can see what your current power monitoring settings are, the way they're set right now. So in this case, for group 1, we've got our monitor AC settings are set to go into standby or power down after 30 minutes, and then we haven't done anything for a hard disk or for the actual CPU or the computer itself is set for 0. So again, and Ed's going to show you as we go into this exactly how to go back in and set a new power policy.
Okay. So we're back here in group 1, and so how simple it is, you basically go into set power policy. As Doug had said, with the existing power policy that shows in there, we could go ahead and drop down into the enhance the current power policy settings for the group. And that shows the existing power policy if one has already been created to keep track of the current policy you're in. Now, setting a power policy is very simple here. What you'll do is you'll basically give the scheme a name. We'll just go ahead and name it sample. And your turn-off monitor settings are anywhere between 0 to 15, 5 to 15. So we'll, as sample, we'll go and set to 30. And then your turn-off hard disk, which is a 30 as well. Standby is 30. Okay. So aside from that, we also have our scheduled tasks for shutdown time. Your options are you can do it from daily, weekly, monthly, and you have your daily send time within hour increments, along with scheduled tasks for wake-up time. Okay. So once those power policies are set, we'll take you back into the groups here. Like Doug had said, it also has the existing power policies, so you'll be able to view it from here. As a sample of our reports, I'll go ahead and show you our power management results. And these are the reports that will show our monthly savings, along with the computers, the policies that are set. Along with these reports, you could export them in multiple applications where you could use anywhere from PDF to Excel.
And again, we roll the whole savings up for all the groups that are out there. And again, you want to have different policies. You may want to have different policies for your executive team, different policies for the HR department, IT. Again, you can set policies as required across your organization. Our strongest recommendation is to make it as simple as possible. This should not be something that IT departments have to spend a lot of time managing. And once the power policies have been deployed, then as each individual comes in and logs in the morning, it knows exactly what that power policy is supposed to be, and it enforces that power policy throughout the day. So again, it's a simple way to come back in and save a significant amount of money without a lot of headache and a lot of effort, and you do it all from a single console. Now with this, we're going to drop over into our McAfee environment, and again, that'll take you through. If we have any McAfee users out there, it's very simple, very straightforward, and if you don't have McAfee, then we have to use the answer solution. But it's pretty straightforward for McAfee users as well.
Okay. So folks, what we're looking at is the McAfee dashboard. Very intuitive, very easy to use. I'll give a demonstration of how we upload our package here. It'll basically, you'll just go into your software, master repository, and then once you go into your master repository, you'll basically check for the package. Our product, we go ahead and select our product or update. We'll browse for our package that we will send out to you to the customer. Once that's uploaded, you'll go and select next. Once that's uploaded, you'll be able to view our package in the master repository. The time it takes normally takes anywhere between 1 to 2 minutes. As you can see right here, it's power management, which is already preloaded. And then
Deploy.
To deploy, we'll take you into the system tree right here. And what we have is basically we'll go into our client path. we'll go into new task, and then we go ahead and select product deployment, and then we go through the created at and then the tags. Once we've selected that, we'll go and select next, and then what you want to choose is our ANSA Power Management 1.20. After we select next, this moves you over to your scheduling time. You'll just go ahead and enable it, whether you want to run immediately or a certain day and time, and then you'll just go ahead and next that. Okay? So what I'll do now is we also have our assigned policies. Once the group is created, you can go ahead and break the inheritance to create another group, and to show you our power policies here. We'll take you in here. This basically gives you the location, the policy name, which you'll enter. You'll turn monitor off. Same settings as our ANSA suite. It gives you the power increments of what you want to set it at. Just go ahead and use an example here. Then turn off our disk and set it to 15, and our standby up to 15 here. And then once you've selected that, you can go ahead and execute the power policy. Very simple to use, very easy to set the power policies. I'll show you our query reports here. And we'll start out with the query to show systems with the ANSA agent. Very intuitive, very easy to see. And then I'll take you out here into our power management report query. And this gives the detailed information, just like our ANSA suite. It'll give the system name, the desktop, the power monitor settings, as you would see in our group description under our ANSA suite as well.
So this is a report. This report and the reports we showed you under the ANSA suite are the reports that are required to submit to your local utility company to be able to receive the grant money from the Ontario Power Authority. So it's very straightforward, very simple, very easy. So with that, if there are questions, Alexander, we can turn it over to whatever questions that have come up.
Yeah, there's been the second one by Jim Armstrong. You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. So does the software reside on each computer, or does the network servers control the power?
No, there is a small client that resides on each individual computer that is installed from the server location. So we don't have to go to each individual computer and load software. We do that from the server and broadcast that out. And again, that's all part and parcel to our deployment, and that's what we do. And typically we have the IT department will be with us, and that's part of as we do the implementation, that's part of their training process.
Okay.
And that client, as I said earlier, it's about 1 megabyte in size, and in its idle state. When it does an inventory, it can grow to maybe 20 megabytes in size, and as soon as it communicates back with the server, it shrinks back down to that 1 megabyte.
Very lightweight.
Very lightweight, and it runs as a process in the background. So unless somebody goes into the task management screen, they're not even going to know it's there.
Okay.
Yeah, I should emphasize that this is a very simple, safe, and easy program to install. And again, it's pretty effortless.
Always easy.
Doug, go ahead.
Is there other questions?
There is one by David. I think Ian Robertson may have just answered. Is the $35 savings computer year calculated assuming computer at full use at 24 hours? And
I'm sorry, the question was?
Is the $35 based on the year savings?
Yes.
Is that based on a full 24-hour computer use?
No, actually, the $35 is basically putting it into system standby or S3 for 15 hours a day.
Okay. Okay. Are there
And
any?
that's also based on 10 cents an hour, and when you start including transmission charges and all the other fees that the utility companies include, the cost is actually, I think, Ian, correct me, but I want to say the numbers we've been hearing between 13 and 15 cents per kilowatt hour. So
Okay.
we're being pretty generous, or being pretty conservative in our estimate.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know this is a number of consultants as well, and I'm sure they can correct us on that. But
Sure.
you're overall, you're pretty well correct.
Right.
I just also would like to say that a lot of the we are offering where we send an FTP file over to you for you to actually test this in your own safe environment, which I think is also quite important as well.
Yeah, in fact, we strongly recommend it. We've not run into any conflicts, but the minute we say we never have an issue, that's when we get nipped in the bud. So what we want to do is we want to offer the ability for users to download the software, push it out to a number of test machines, validate that it does do what we say it does and that there are no issues, and typically we'll know within a day or two whether there are any problems, and then at that point we just continue the deployment across the network, work with you to ensure that the groups are set up properly, and that appropriate power policies are pushed out to those groups, and make it as simple and straightforward and easy as possible.
The other thing I'd like to just briefly say to everyone is that the people that started to actually start power management in the very beginning were call it the national sector, but certainly a lot of the colleges and universities have already implemented power management as an energy cost prevention, and they've had some significant success by obviously using power management programs. We've noticed that industrial side or commercial side, there is certainly now becoming very, very strong interest. I'm sure everybody has walked around and seen, computers left on when you're leaving work or even in your own home. We're all guilty of it. And as I said to you before, a very safe, easy program to execute. And you've got the peace of mind of the technology itself being very simple.
There's just Jim just asked a good question. Do the computer users complain about their computers going to sleep?
Actually, what we do, and that's a great question, because one of the key, sorry, I needed to see that question. It just popped up. Go back to the other screen. What we do is, it's real key for the organization to communicate to the employees that we are going to be implementing power savings measures, computer power savings policies, to reduce the power consumption on the computers that are being used. What we recommend is that the power policies be set so it doesn't really interfere with the day-to-day operations of the users. So, I mean, you can get real aggressive and set the monitor to go into standby and the desktop to go into standby after 15 minutes. And the nice thing about standby, and this is the reason why most of our customers use system standby, is because all they have to do is move the mouse or hit a key on the keyboard, and within a second or two, the computer comes right back to the way, to the last screen that they were on. So it's really simple, really straightforward. That makes it easy. It doesn't impact the users. Most of the customers, we have 15 minutes for the monitor, and then probably 30 minutes to 60 minutes for the computers to go into standby. And, again, when the user comes back from lunch or they go to a meeting and they're from a meeting from 2 to 4, they come back and they want to finish their workday, all they do is hit the space bar and move the mouse, and the screen comes back to life. For those areas that are sensitive in HR, in finance, where sensitive information could be on a computer screen, we can have a setup where it requires the user to enter their login password information to have that screen render itself again. So when they move the mouse, it comes back as, please enter your password to access your system. Again, it gives you that opportunity to for those areas that are sensitive, like HR, that could have, you know, personnel files up, or financial, the finance department, where sensitive financial information could be on their screen, and you just don't want anybody walking up, hitting a space bar and taking a look at what, you know, what revenues are, what your costs are, that sort of thing. So it's really, the key thing is to let people know within the organization that, number one, we're going to be implementing this. And the reason we're implementing it is because we have X number of PCs. We're looking to save somewhere between, you know, $30 and $40 per computer per year, and total savings of X. Plus, it gives an organization a lead, lets them take a leadership role in the community with regard to you know, environmental sustainability as well.
Well, great. David has another question. He thanks you for the original response, but he just wants to clarify if the base case is, if the base case assuming 15 hours at S3 mode and 9 hours at full use, and then using the Autonomic software, we'll get the saving of $35 per computer per year.
Base case thing, 15 hours at S3 mode. Yeah, what we've done, and what we see when we take a standard computer, and again, you know, you can use, we use the standard Energy Star compliant computer and monitor with a total power consumption of about 100 watts per hour. So a 100-watt light bulb staying on. And when we drop that into S3 mode, you're talking about, it's about 6 to 7%. So now you're down to, you know, 6 to 7 watts of power consumption. So your savings is 93 to 94 watts over the course of that 15 hours. And it's assuming it's a 9-hour workday. Plus you've got an hour of lunch, and we're grabbing another half hour of savings, because we set the power policy to 15 and 30. And Jim, if you would like, we'd be happy. We actually have a calculator that you can use to go back in and play what-if scenarios. And if you could get the your email address, or if anybody would like this, you know, get your email address over to the over to Ian Graham, then we'd be able to we'd be happy to send that to you as well.
And Ian Robertson also points out a good point. It is important as well to encourage the shift in culture within your organization, giving encouragement to staff and an education on the organization's mission will improve the response by staff to the change of how their computers behave.
Exactly, and again, it gets back to that communication point. And what we found with most organizations, when you tell people, hey, we're going to do this, we're not going to impact, we're going to try and minimize the impact to your daily work routine by setting our power policies in such a fashion that, you know, if you're away from your computer for more than an hour, you're going to come back and your screen's going to be blank, and you have to move your you're going to be saving X amount of dollars a year, and oh, by the way, it costs us very little to do this. Jim just wrote a question. So is there savings between turning a computer off and going into standby? You're going to save on per computer between 6 and 7 watts over the course of a day. Over 15 hours, we'll use 6. That's, you know, 90 watts in savings. So what's that? That's about 1/10 of a kilowatt. So you're saving about a penny a day by going into standby, or going from standby to off. Like I said, most of our, to minimize the impact on our users, most people just use standby. We have one customer, and actually, it's a library system. They have over 2,000 publicly used computers, and we actually do shut those down every day at 5:30, and then at 8:30 the next morning we turn them back on by sending a wake on land signal. And they actually turn them off because that way the people that are using, the patrons that are using them, they want them to leave by 5:30. So they just power the computers off. If you do want to shut your computers down at a specific time, because we can set them into standby after, again, a specific amount of idle time, but we, as you saw earlier, we can also schedule a shutdown time. We can schedule a shutdown time for, let's say, 10 o'clock at night. And if somebody's using their computer at 10 o'clock, they're working late, there's going to be a message that's going to be presented to them that says, would you like to, your computer's going to shut down in 5 minutes, would you like to continue the shutdown process? If you say no, then it'll hold off, or you can extend that period for up to 4 hours. So you still have the ability not to shut a computer down without getting, if somebody's using it and not having them have an opportunity to opt out.
Okay. I'd like to also emphasize that for any of the folks that are interested, we can very easily, as I say, send you, as mentioned before, a test trial. My name obviously is on the screen right now if you wish to email me. We can also do a baseline calculation as well by using some kilowatts on your computers. We'll probably need that when working with your local utility, so that we can actually put the report together to be sent off, obviously, to the OTA. Again, any questions are right there with my phone number.
Great. Are there any other questions that anyone has that we would want to address now? No? Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank every one of you who joined this afternoon. I do apologize for the small technical difficulties that we did have in the beginning. A link to the webinar will be sent to you by email by end of day tomorrow with all the contact information as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me by email, or if you would like more information on Partners in Project Green, you can always check our website at www.partnersinprojectgreen.com. The next Green Technology webinar is scheduled for Thursday, August 18th, featuring Kingspan Solar. So thank you again and have a wonderful afternoon.